Nothing to report by the Lakeside.
Would you like some coffee first, actually?
Sure. Yes, I wouldn't mind a cup of coffee.
Okay. I have some left over from this morning. You take cream or sugar?
Lots of sugar, no cream.
So your name is the Colonel, correct?
It's not my name, it's just what people call me.
So what's your name?
I'd rather not discuss that with you.
Okay then. The Colonel. I like it. It has a nice ring to it.
Thanks. Thought so too.
So, how long have you been at Camp Huntington, the Colonel?
Is this the interview?
No, I was just making small talk.
Okay. I was just under the impression that I wouldn't be divulging any information until the interview.
You're under no obligation to divulge anything, the Colonel. I'm just making small talk is all.
Okay. I was just making sure. Not that I don't enjoy a little small talk here and there. And please, just call me Colonel.
Alright then, Colonel. Here's your coffee.
Thank you very much, sir. Not a bad cup of coffee. It's a few shades too hot and not quite as strong as I'd like it, but goddamn if it doesn't deliver.
That's the least I could do. You've been so helpful these last few days. I wanted to let you know I appreciate your hospitality. I think the article I'm doing is going to turn out much better than expected, and I have you to thank for that.
Should we begin the interview?
Yes, of course. So, how has the time passed?
But is that your first question?
Indeed it is. How has the time passed, Colonel?
What kind of question is that?
It isn't any kind of question. It's just a question.
But what does it mean?
It means that in the 15 years since the Lakeside Occurrences, as this camp, as this community, has come to reckon with the events that transpired those horrible 15 years ago, time has gone by. Time has passed. And how has it passed, Colonel?
It's passed all right, I suppose. It's sad what happened, but we move on.
You were there the night the events occurred. What were your thoughts then?
When someone commits such a heinous crime, what are you supposed to think?
I'm not sure myself. I'm only asking what you did think.
I thought it was awful. That's what I thought. Thought it was awful and terrible, and that's all there is to say about it.
As we know, the perpetrator was never caught. Is there any concerns about that?
Not particularly. Obviously, I wish the guy was caught. Wish he was locked up for the rest of his life. Put in the electric chair and sent to the seventh circle of hell. But I'm not too concerned about it. As you said, an awful lot of time has passed.
That it has. Hello?
I just don't get the point of it.
I'm just trying to do a quick interview. Just get your perspective.
I don't have a perspective. I don't know anything about it.
You don't need to know anything about it. You just need to have a perspective.
On murder? I'm against it. Thanks for asking.
What brought you to Camp Huntington? Can I ask you that?
I needed work.
Is that it?
It's a nice place to work. What more of a reason do you need? It's more fun than working at McDonald's. And it pays better, too.
Camp opens in a week, right?
6 days.
You're good at keeping track of time?
Was that a question or a statement?
A statement, but it can also be a question. Are you good at keeping track of time?
When it counts.
How familiar are you, really, with the Lakeside Occurrences?
I've already told you, I know nothing about it.
But you know something. You know that it's about murder. You said that, not me.
Everyone knows that. Everyone in this town, at least.
Yeah. What else does everyone know?
They know that the killer got away.
Go on.
They know that the killer was wearing a mask, like in a slasher movie. They know he burned down a cabin, and 9 people died. They were all burned to death.
You know quite a bit for someone who doesn't know anything.
Yeah, but you already know all that stuff. There's nothing new I can tell you.
No, actually, I didn't know he was wearing a mask. None of the papers reported that at the time. Do you know that to be a fact, or is that just an urban legend?
Urban legend. Everything I told you was urban legend. That's why I said I don't know anything. Anything real.
Yeah, but everything else you said was real, so maybe that is too.
Hey. Are you gonna wash your clothes while you're here?
No. I wasn't planning on it. Why?
Nothing. It's just the washing machine's broken.
Okay. Well, thanks for the interview. What the fuck? Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Kier Montane.
What an odd name.
Thank you. I'm doing an article for the Times.
The New York Times.
No, the Huntington Grove Times.
Do you hope to work for the New York Times someday?
Maybe. Right now I was hoping I could speak with you, though.
What's the piece on?
The Lakeside Occurrences.
You mean the ones from 10 years ago?
15 years ago, but yes.
Who can keep track anymore?
So, can I ask you some questions?
Sure, but I'm going somewhere right now. Can we walk and talk?
So, what is your familiarity with the Lakeside Occurrences?
I was only in kindergarten when they happened, so I don't have much familiarity with them at all. Only what my parents told me.
I was in kindergarten too, as a matter of fact. So, what did your parents tell you about them?
Oh, they were horrified when they happened. I mean, to think that someone would do something like that, burn down a cabin full of kids. Terrible thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what else did they tell you?
Well, we lived pretty close to the camp, so they could smell the smoke. My mom said she could smell the flesh burning. My dad said that she might have imagined that. I don't know. Maybe she imagined it, maybe she didn't. Anyways, they could still smell the smoke burning in the morning. And whenever my mom said she would drive past the lake, she could hear the children. She could hear them screaming. For that part, she knows she imagined.
Hello. Who are they?
We are
the Lake Huntington Preservation Society.
We are here to ensure that Lake Huntington is not corrupted by outside forces which seek to destroy it. We will do whatever it takes to preserve the lake. This lake has always been, and always will be, perfect. We are charged with preservation, with protecting it from imperfection. Are you a corrupting force?
No. No corrupting forces here. Should we continue with the interview later? Or...
What does this interview seek?
I'm doing an interview about the events that happened 15 years ago. The Lakeside Occurrences, as they're called.
We are aware of the Lakeside Occurrences.
Oh. Well then, could I interview you?
Of course.
Great. What's your name?
My name is not important. All that is important is that you know I'm a member of the Lake Huntington Preservation Society, and the leading member at that.
And what exactly is the Lake Huntington Preservation Society?
We in the Lake Huntington Preservation Society are charged with protecting the lake and all of its inhabitants from change.
What kind of change?
It doesn't much matter what kind of change. Our mission is preservation. We are the Lake Huntington Preservation Society after all. Without preservation, we will wither away and die. Are there any other questions which you would like to ask?
No? I think I'm good.
Don't go in the basement.
Excuse me?
Don't go in the basement where the washing machine is. Don't go there because the washing machine is broken.
Okay. I won't go in the basement.
Thank you. Our interview has now concluded.
All right. Thanks for your time.
Come on. What do you want?
Where are you going?
What the hell does it matter to you?
I mean, like, can I come with?
You don't know where I'm going.
It doesn't matter. I just want to talk. I just can't figure it out.
What?
The Lakeside Occurrences.
What's there to figure out?
I just don't know what the story is. I don't know. So much time has passed. What else is there to say?
I see.
I hate traffic.
I like it.
Yeah, what do you like about it?
I appreciate the pauses. Gives me time to think.
That's an interesting perspective.
I suppose.
What do you think about?
Anything. Anything there is to think about.
What are you thinking about right now?
What does it matter?
I'm just curious. It's an interesting perspective. I don't think I've ever met anyone who says they like traffic.
I'm wondering if you might be making too much out of the Lakeside Occurrences.
You don't think it's an important issue?
Well, you're wondering what the story is. Maybe that's the point. Maybe there isn't a story. Maybe it's just something that happened. Don't get me wrong, it's a terrible thing, those children dying 15 years ago. And yet, 100 years from now, they'd all be dead anyway. More people died in car accidents on this road in the last couple months than died in that fire. But no one talks about them. The future is only defined by what we don't know. Maybe that's why we anchor ourselves to the past. Maybe that's why we pretend things aren't what they are. The past is in the past, did you know that?
Sure.
I wonder sometimes if people do. It's such an obvious statement, and yet people spend their entire lives ignoring its meaning. They're children, that's what they are. And it's fun to pretend when you're a child. I guess it could be fun as an adult too. To pretend that things aren't what they are. Or maybe it isn't fun, I don't know. Maybe it's just a way of blocking the pain. Maybe that's why people like to pretend about the past, make up stories. Anyway, I like traffic. It's just a weird thing about me, I guess. I think someday I'll miss the pauses and the waiting.
It's certainly an interesting perspective.
What were we talking about before?
You know, I haven't the slightest idea.
Look at that. The traffic's gone.
Motherfucker.
Hey, excuse me. Can I ask you some questions? Hey! Hey, I just want to ask you some questions. Please, I just want answers. Please, it's just some questions. I just want to know. Wait, please.
Good evening. Or perhaps I should say good morning.
Where am I?
I think you've asked enough questions, Mr. Journalist. I'll be asking the questions from now on. But first, actually, how about some coffee? You wouldn't mind if I made some? I know how you like it, and I wouldn't mind a cup myself. It's so sad the way things turn out. The inevitability of reality, as consistent as it is disheartening. I thought I might like you, Mr. Montane. But then again, I have been wrong before.
What are you talking about?
As I said, Mr. Montane, I'll be asking the questions now. And my first question is quite simple. Why did you come here?
I came here to do a story.
But why did you really come here, Mr. Kier Montane? We were told this would be a puff piece. Something that would pop up on the 8th page of the local newspaper next to the gardening columns and the obituaries. But this is more than that, is it not? This is more than a puff piece. So let me ask you again. Why did you come here?
I came here to find the truth.
I'll admit I objected to you coming down here at first. I didn't want some journalists nosing around, staying in our cabins, interviewing my counselors. But nevertheless, I welcomed you to Camp Huntington with open arms. I let you stay in our cabins, interview our counselors, interview me. I let you do that. But there have been some things that have been brought to my attention. Some things that I must say are quite troubling.
What do you mean?
I'll tell you. I was approached by a member of the Lake Huntington Preservation Society. I believe you've heard of them? I was informed of a threat to this lake, to this campground. You see, the Lake Huntington Preservation Society takes the preservation of this camp very seriously, and so do I. Preservation is the name of the game, Mr. Montane. Preservation built this camp. And without preservation, it will wither away and die. So a threat to its preservation, as you can imagine, was taken very seriously. Especially by some outsider, some newcomer, some journalist.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Well, here's something you do understand, Mr. Montane. This, as you can see, is a pot of coffee. Steaming hot. Just the way you like it. Just the way I like it, to tell you the truth. It's a few shades too hot and not as quite as strong as I'd like, but goddamn if it doesn't deliver. It always delivers. And if you want to make it out of this, then you had better deliver too. Now, Mr. Montane, I want you to tell me in no uncertain terms why the Lake Huntington Preservation Society has perceived this threat from you. And I must warn you, this coffee is very hot.
I don't know. Wait. I just asked them some questions. That's it. I just wanted to know a few things. That's it. I just wanted to know.
I think you want to know too much, Mr. Montane. Why are you even here in the first place? What about the Lakeside Occurrences fascinated you so much? Some silly goddamn murders from 15 years ago. One cabin burned down, 9 people dead, and a whole lot of time passed since. So what really is it to you? What really is your business here?
My business here is as a journalist. I'm not doing a puff piece. I'm not doing a hit piece. It's just a piece, Colonel. And I'm just a journalist.
Can you hear that? The echo of a distant time. I can hear it. I can still feel it. It's right there in front of me. I wonder if you know what it's like to feel something like that.
Nothing to report. Nothing to report by the lakeside.